If you told me a 5'8" point guard from a small city in Japan was going to get real NBA minutes in 2026, I'd probably nod politely and then forget you said it. Because the league does not care about your cool story. The league cares about size, the league cares about pressure, and the league really cares about hunting you on defense until you tap out. So yeah, Yuki Kawamura making it to the NBA was already unlikely, but making it twice, getting hit with a legit medical setback, coming back, and still looking like he belongs? That's the part that made me stop scrolling. And by the end of this video, you'll know if Kawamura is just a fun underdog story, or if he's actually building a real NBA path that other undersized guards can copy. Quick thing, those who are not subscribers, almost all of you watching still aren't subscribed, which is honestly wild. Subscribe to NBA Inside and comment what you want next, because I'm always pulling video ideas straight from the comments. Alright, let's talk about why Kawamura is different. First, the obvious. He's tiny by NBA standards. He's listed around 1.73 meters and about 72 kilograms. The average NBA player is between 6'3" and 6'9". 10 players under 1.73 meters, 5'8". Around 4,800 players have played in the NBA. That represents only about 0.2%. That means every possession is basically a test. Not a let's see if he's good. A let's see if we can break him. And the crazy part is, he's built his entire career around knowing that. He didn't come up in some giant American pipeline where a coach tells you, don't worry, you'll grow into it. He came up in Yanai Yamaguchi, where the dream is far away and the gyms don't come with hype. His parents were school teachers, he had 2 older sisters, normal house, normal life. And if you want the funniest detail, he didn't even start as a basketball kid. He wanted to play baseball. Then he walked into a sports store as a 2nd grader, saw the basketball uniforms, thought they looked cooler, and switched sports like he was choosing a skin in a video game. That's how this started, and his dad leaned all the way into it. He put a hoop in the yard, built a net so the ball wouldn't roll into rice paddies, rigged lights and tarps so his kid could shoot whenever he wanted. That sounds small, but it's not. That's the whole foundation of why Kawamura plays the way he plays. Because if you're undersized, you don't get to be casual, you don't get to waste reps, you don't get to figure it out later. You either become sharp or you disappear. Now fast forward, he ends up at Fukuoka Daiichi, one of the real powerhouse high school programs in Japan, and he helps them win back-to-back national titles. So at this point, he's not a fun little guard, he's a winner inside a serious system. Then he does something that matters for his story. He goes to Tokai University, but he also gets early pro reps as a special designated player. That's the first time he's testing his game against grown professionals. And he doesn't just survive, he literally becomes the youngest player ever to appear in a B-League game at 18, and then the youngest to score. That's when the path changes, because now it's not can he play, now it's how far can he take this. Then comes Yokohama, and this is where people who only follow the NBA miss the plot. In Yokohama, Kawamura becomes a real star. Not good in Japan, star. Only 4 Japanese players in NBA history. In 2022-23, he wins B-League MVP. He also gets Rookie of the Year, and he makes the best 5. That award sweep is stupid, and by 2023-24, his numbers look like a guard who's running everything. 20.9 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds, 30.6 minutes a night, and I need you to understand what that means. He wasn't doing small guard tricks, he was carrying offense, he was taking the hard shots late, he was making the hard reads early. This is the part where people go, okay, but Japan isn't the NBA. True, but here's the thing, if you're that small, You don't get to fake it anywhere. You can't rely on athletic bullying. You can't rely on being taller than the defender. You have to win with pace, timing, reads, and touch. Those skills translate, sometimes better than people expect. Then he hits the global stage, and this is where it becomes impossible to ignore. At the 2024 Paris Olympics, Kawamura averages 20.3 points, 7.7 assists, and 3.3 rebounds, and he's the only player in the tournament averaging at least 20 and 7. That's not a cute stat, that's a, hey NBA scouts, look at this stat. And it's also when you realize his style isn't just highlights, it's pressure. He plays like he's trying to bend the game with speed and angles. Now we get to the part everybody actually cares about. How does he end up in the NBA? Memphis takes a chance. He gets a two-way situation. He plays 22 NBA games in 2024 to 25, but it's a tiny role. About 4 minutes a night, about 1.6 points. So if you're box scoring scouting, you'd laugh and move on. But that's not the real test. The real test is the G League. Because in the G League, you don't survive off novelty. You survive if you can run a fence every night against athletes trying to get called up. And with the Memphis hustle, he's closer to his real self. Around 12.7 points, 8.4 assists, 3 rebounds, 1.3 steals, about 31 minutes. That's an actual point guard line. That's a guy controlling tempo, not just running around. Then comes the moment that basically rebooted his entire career. 2025 Summer League with Chicago. And I'm going to be honest, I love Summer League for one reason. It exposes who's real, because the gym is full of players who want to score. But there are very few players who can organize a team, make people better, and still hit shots when the defense starts ignoring them.
Teammate. Kawamura, setback, fires a three, ignites.
Kawamura pops immediately over 5 Summer League games for Chicago against the Toronto Raptors, Sacramento Kings, Indiana Pacers, Milwaukee Bucks, and Utah Jazz. He averages 10.2 points, 6.2 assists, 2.4 rebounds, and 2.2 assists. And then he has that one game that makes front offices stop pretending. Against Utah, 20 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 6 made threes. That's not a fluke night, that's a proof night. And here's what I liked about it. He wasn't playing like he was begging for a contract, he was playing like he belonged. That's a big difference. One feels desperate, the other feels annoying to play against. So Chicago signs him to a two-way on July 19th, 2025. And that's where you think the story turns into the happy ending. It doesn't. He gets hit with a blood clot in his leg. That's serious. So serious that the Bulls waive him in October 2025. And this is where most stories end. Not because the player isn't talented, because life just happens. But Chicago kept the door open. They clearly liked him. They didn't treat him like a Summer League meme. So when he clears medically, they bring him back. January 6, 2026, he's re-signed to a two-way. Now here's the part I want to talk about, because this is where underdog story turns into actual NBA skill. When he finally debuts for Chicago in the regular season, February 1st, 2026, he plays 11 minutes against Miami and puts up 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and hits 2 threes. That's not a stat line that wins awards, but it's a stat line that tells you he didn't look overwhelmed. And if you've watched a lot of fringe guards get their first real minutes, you know how rare that is. A lot of them play like every dribble is a job interview. Kawamura played like, cool, give me another shift. Now, what actually makes him an NBA level guard, even at this size? It's not speed alone. There are fast guys everywhere. It's the way he changes pace. He doesn't sprint the whole time. He lulls you, then he pops. He forces defenders to lean the wrong way, and once they lean, he's already gone. Then the passing. He throws passes like he's been staring at the same defensive mistakes for 10 years. Pocket passes, skip passes, quick hit aheads. Stuff that doesn't look fancy until you realize it arrives on time, every time. And the shooting matters too, because the moment a defense goes under screens and doesn't respect your pull-up, your whole game dies. Kawamura has enough range and confidence that you can't just ignore him. Now I want to address the thing everyone is thinking. Defense. How does a 5'8" guard survive defensively in the NBA? He survives the only way small guards ever survive. He competes like he's irritated you even tried him. Low center of gravity, active hands, anticipation, and honestly, a little bit of chaos. He's never going to be a shutdown defender. That's not the deal. The deal is, do you make him a target every possession, or do you realize the hunt is costing you rhythm? And that's where he gets you. Because if you spend a whole quarter trying to bully him, but he's pushing pace, making shots, creating steals, and turning your big's legs into jelly, you start asking yourself if the hunt was even worth it. So what is Kawamura right now? He's a two-way guard who can run your G League team like a real point guard.
Whether he get it back. Marquez checking his rear view mirror. Kawamura with the...
He can give you spot NBA minutes without the game falling apart. And he's already shown he can swing short stretches with pace, shooting, and energy. That's valuable, especially in a league where half the backup point guards are really just small shooting guards pretending. Now, I'll give you the honest part. The margin is still thin. If his shot slips, he becomes easier to ignore. If teams get physical and he can't get to his spots, his passing windows shrink. And if he ever starts playing hesitant, the size problem gets loud again. But the reason I'm buying him a little more than the average international guard story is simple. He's already lived the hard version of this. He already played pro ball young. He already carried a team. He already ran offense on a global stage. And he already got punched in the face by the NBA once, then came back. That's not hype, that's seasoning. So here's my question for you. Is Kawamura just a cool story that peaks as a two-way fan favorite? Or does he actually carve out a real multi-year NBA role? The kind where you look up in 2028 and he's still around, still annoying, still stealing minutes? Drop your take in the comments. And again, subscribe to NBA Inside if you want more deep dives like this, because I'm picking the next video based on what you all ask for. Because sometimes the league tells you who belongs by ignoring them at first, and by the time everyone catches up, the player is already in the rotation.